How is the docking experience on the Steam Deck? Well, like I said, it's pretty good, but it's time to explore that in depth with a dock. A company called JSAUX created a bunch of Steam Deck accessories, including a Steam Deck dock, and they happen to send me one for evaluation purposes. And so that's what this video is about today. Are you ready to play some Steam Deck games? Are you ready to play some PC games on your TV? Bad news for those of you who wanted to buy a Steam Deck dock. It's been delayed. Yeah, this news is actually a few weeks old, but we don't have any news on the dock. We don't have a release date, heck, we don't even have a price. However, there are a glut of USB-C docks that work on the Steam Deck already as it is, and chances are you might even own one already. This dock right here, however, it was purpose-made for the Steam Deck. As graciously said before, this dock was provided to me by JSAUX for the purposes of review. As of the creation of this video, it's not available to buy on Amazon, but rather on their website. Links will be in the description below, and I'll update it with an Amazon link when it's for sale on Amazon. So inside the box is two things. One is documentation, and two is the dock itself. Alright, it's time to get it out. And honestly, this thing is a lot heavier than I was expecting it to be. I mean, it doesn't really matter because you're not going to be holding it in your hands or whatever. I guess this heavy feeling leads to a more premium feeling in the hands. The dock itself should be a lot more stable due to the fact that it's, well, heavier. Accidentally nudge your Steam Deck's not going to fall over. Sorry about that, I just had to run over and get my Steam Deck right here. The setup process is pretty simple as well. Just plug in an HDMI cable, plug in any charger that's capable of charging the Steam Deck, plug in any peripherals like, controllers and stuff, and you're good. All that's left to do is to plug in your new dock into the Steam Deck. I made the mistake of not plugging in a controller earlier, so it's kind of a pain in the butt, really. All of this footage is going to be me pointing a camera at the screen. Now, for the moment of truth. Aw yeah, look at that, my Steam Deck on this crappy little monitor that I just happen to have. You know what? Yeah, it's a good way to play emulation, but let's play a game that requires more out of the Steam Deck. Here, we're looking at God of War, the PS4 one. And if we look at display, the game actually outputs a 720p image rather than a 1080p image. You might ask, what's the deal with this? Well, by default, the Steam Deck will output a 720p resolution, or an 800p resolution on its own screen. Is there any way to remedy this? Yeah, there is a way. So you'll want to go into your game properties, and under general, you'll see a game resolution option. Instead of native, you'll want to set it to 1080p, 1920 by 1080. We're gonna set it to 1080p. And as you can see right now, if you go into display, it's actually outputting a 1080p image. But thanks to FSR 2.0, it's actually rendering 720p and upscaling it. But for the sake of comparison, let's see what happens when we run the game without FSR at 1080p. And even on the main menu, oh boy, this does not look good. And as you can see there, it runs at a constant 24 FPS. That's a lot better than I was expecting, but honestly, it's not great. I'm sure you could lower some settings and then you'd have a perfectly playable 30 FPS at 1080p. Kind of like the PS4. Things get really playable though when you turn on FSR 2.0, and this is on performance setting, and it's running at close to 30 FPS. We got a little bit of a performance increase, though you can always also turn down the graphics from original to low, like so. And as you can see there, the game runs at a solid 45 to 50 FPS. Now let's try changing the refresh rate while docked. Let's see what happens when that happens. We're going all the way down to 40 Hertz. I mean, it should work, right? Hello? Are you there? Oh, crap, it doesn't work. Now you might be thinking, how do you fix this solution, especially since you can't see the screen on either your Steam Deck or the monitor? Well, the secret is to just press A again and scroll all the way back up to 60, or 57, I guess. That's weird. Let's try going down to a higher number, like 45. Is it gonna work? Yes, it is. It is in fact going to work. In fact, it does work. you might question the practicality of such application, and it's for the same reasons you would do the same on the Steam Deck itself. Smoother gameplay than having to fluctuate between 50 and 60 all the time. Your Steam Deck doesn't need to work as hard as well. And this is perfectly fine, especially if you're outputting to a 1080p resolution. However, if you want that perfect 60 FPS, you're going to have to output 720p images onto your 1080p or 4K panels instead. Thankfully, it's a per game basis, so you can choose what games run at high resolutions and which games run at lower resolutions. Now let's pick a substantially easier game to run. And that game is Omori. Oh. Omori doesn't have cloud saves? Well, it's whatever. It's a good opportunity to play through it again, this time on the Hikikomori route. I'm not entirely sure why I have the performance metrics for Omori up, given that Omori runs on even the worst PCs available. But you know what, whatever. Sorry, Aubrey, I'm not gonna play cards with you today. I've got a Steam Deck to play today. And so I decided to see if this option showed up in non-Steam games, like Sonic 3 Air, which we'll do a video on later, maybe. Anyways, the resolution options, they don't show up in non-Steam games. What I didn't realize was that Sonic 3 Air doesn't have like a resolution option setting. Whatever, it's a perfectly legal way to play widescreen Sonic 3 if you bought Sonic 3 on Steam. So yeah, docking into a computer monitor, it works well, especially if you want to use it as a computer. But I'm more interested in docking this into a TV for the ultimate console experience. Unfortunately, it's not all hunky-dory. There's no signal received. Like none. I thought maybe it was the HDMI cable that wasn't working, but that wasn't the case either, as I tried another HDMI cable and it didn't work either. So I grabbed another dock, and as fate would have it, that one worked. That one outputted to 4K just fine. I don't know what the heck's the deal, especially considering the dock itself advertises 4K 60. Of course, this wasn't my only 4K TV. I happen to have one downstairs. It's a newer LG 4K TV, so I figured let's give it a shot. And it works beautifully, which is weird because it didn't work in my upstairs 4K TV, so I had an idea. I tried a different dock upstairs, and I see that that dock works. I'm not really sure what the heck's going on, but I don't know. So what are my final thoughts on the dock? It's a very well-made dock, it's very sturdy, and it's very stable due to its weight. Your Steam Deck's not going to tip over anytime soon. And yes, true to its word, it does output to 4K TVs. Though your mileage may vary in this regard, and I'm not sure if it's a TV issue or if it's a dock issue. That said, I do wish the dock had overall better specs. The max speed it can go to is around 100 megabits per second on Ethernet. It's still perfectly serviceable for many things, but downloading games may be a bit slower. In fact, it may just be faster to download games using Wi-Fi. And the USB ports, while they may be colored blue, they are in fact USB 2.0 ports. And USB 2 ports are just fine for things like keyboards and mices and controllers and whatnot. But for high-speed storage, USB 2.0 just isn't good enough anymore. And yes, there may be slightly cheaper docks that have better specifications, but they're also not really docks, they're more like USB hubs. And they also don't provide a way to stand up your Steam Deck. For $40, I think this product right here, the JSAUX Steam Deck dock, it's a pretty decent value. That said, I would pay more for a better version of this dock. Gigabit Ethernet, USB 3.2, more USB ports? I would totally do that. JSAUX, I know if you're listening to this, I want you to let you know that this dock is a pretty good dock, though I think there's definitely a market for higher end docks as well that people would definitely pay more money for. I know that because I'm one of those people. So if you like my content, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, join my Discord server, and also enable notifications.